So I'm now happy to continue with the next part of the program, the Declaration of Collaboration. And our next speaker is Dr. Nahum Itzkovitz, Director General, Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Israel. Please.
Ministers and ambassadors, friends and colleagues, good afternoon. I feel privileged to take part in this important conference and would like to thank the organizers for making it possible despite these challenges day. This conference reflects the great importance both of our ministers attribute to the agricultural research collaboration between Germany and Israel. I think we will all share the view that agricultural cooperation between German and Israeli researchers is the field of agriculture hold a great potential for both our research community, but also for the benefit of all of us. As mentioned by Minister Schuster, we will be happy to find practical ways to join efforts in different fields, including agricultural research. The field of interest that can be supported by Israeli and German joint activities in agricultural development dedicated to the challenge of the climate changes, especially the climate changes. Innovation is the key factor of all prosperity of both Israelis and Germans' economy and agriculture. I am looking forward to discuss ways to enhancing the existing cooperation in agriculture between Israel and Germany. I wish you all successful and interesting conference, good health, and all the best. Thank you. Shalom v'litraot.
Thank you, Dr. Itzkovitz. Our next speaker is Professor Abed Gera, Acting Chief Scientist from the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Israel. Please.
Thank you, Hagit. Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Director General and Ambassadors, distinguished guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, Shalom, Salam, and Guten Tag. I wish to express my profound gratitude to the organizers, especially Vinny, Andrea, and Barbara, for the privilege of addressing this German-Israeli binational meeting as a part of the cooperation between Helmholtz Association and the Volcani Center. Chief Scientist Fund was established to advance, foster, and fund research carried out by Israeli researchers at the academy and research institution. The major goals are to identify agriculture challenges and problems in which knowledge gaps exist, to determine research goals aimed to bridge gaps, and to fund such research activities. We monitor research performance in order to guarantee the implementation of the outcome for the benefits of farmers, public values, and the environment. The major subjects that are currently supported and controlled by the chief scientist include topics dealing with agricultural biotechnology, animal and food production, safety and quality, irrigation and water management, post-harvest and sustainable agriculture, plant and animal health aimed at reducing the use of pesticides. We believe that the COVID-19 pandemic has underlined the importance of the robust and resilient for systems that functions in all circumstances and is capable of ensuring access to sufficient supply of affordable food for all citizens. It has also made us accurately aware of the interrelations between our health, ecosystem, supply chains, consumption patterns, and planetary boundaries. The current pandemic is just one example. The increasing recurrence of drought, forest fires, and new emerging pests are a constant reminder that our food system is under threat and must become more sustainable and resilient. Our strategy is oriented to address comprehensively the challenges of a sustainable food system and recognize the inextricable links between healthy society and a healthy planet. In the aftermath of COVID-19 pandemic and the economic downturn, a shift to sustainable food system can bring environmental health and social benefits, offer economic gain, and ensure that the recovery from the crisis put us into a sustainable path. Climate change has been shown to have a number of direct biophysical impact on agriculture, including changes in arable and perennial crop, and pasture physiology, productivity, and quality, in water demand for irrigation, and weeds, pests, and diseases, with a possible head stress effect on animal physiology, productivity, and reproduction. Biological adaptation to climate change is already taking place through natural selection, biological invasions, and emerging pests and diseases. And today, and mainly in the future complex climatic change, demographic growth, and energy context, agricultural research must deal with the major issues on various scales to ensure food security. We are offering joining forces in promoting a multidisciplinary synergistic research collaboration between Germany and Israel. Soil and water, the natural resources that underpin agriculture production, are under continuous stress. Even every day, approximately 1,000 of dunams or hectares of land are lost from production because of urbanization, degradation, and desertification processes. Land degradation coupled with the rapid human population growth result in a significant reduction in the level of land per capita available for production. Fresh water is also scarce and insecure resources. The implications of the diminishing stocks of productive land and water are severe worldwide. The impacts of climate change are global in scope and exceptionally in scale. Adaptation to increased climatic variability may also imply an increased use of genetic diversity in our farming systems. Achieving increased adaptation will necessitate integration of climate change related issue with other factors such as market risk, energy prices, consumer habits, land and water availability, and agriculture policies. To meet future challenges, new sciences and new modes of collaboration are needed. Optimization of agriculture production will require more novelty, synergism, and multidisciplinary research efforts. I believe that in the current workshop, researchers from Israel and Germany will share their research related to adaptation to climate changes, research that addresses how plants and animals can adapt or be adapted to grow in a changing environment, agriculture under arid condition, agriculture on marginal soils, irrigation using effluent and saline water, farming under conditions of water shortage, and food security. The vast diversity of the topic in this meeting reflects the wide scope in which collaboration can potentially increase farming efficiency and support sustainability of agriculture. We anticipate a direct research collaboration between Germany and Israel in the framework of a joint binational call for proposals, a synergistic multidisciplinary research collaboration with the involvement of companies from both countries. In conclusion, I would say that agricultural innovation are key drivers in accelerating the transition to sustainable, healthy, and inclusive food systems from primary production to consumption. Research and innovation can help develop and test solutions, overcome barriers, and uncover new market opportunities. New knowledge and innovation will also scale up agroecological approaches in primary production through a dedicated partnership between Germany and Israel on agroecology living laboratories. This will contribute to reducing the use of pesticides in agriculture, fertilizers, and antimicrobials, speed up innovation, and accelerate knowledge transfer. I wish you all a successful and enjoyable meeting with a lot of good sense and some fun. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Gera. So many options for collaboration and indeed a lot of fun. Our next speaker is Albert Wulff, Head of Directorate Research, Federal Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Germany. Please.
Honorable ministers, ambassadors, and presidents of the participating research institutions, ladies and gentlemen. In my capacity as the head of Directorate Research at the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, I would like to warmly welcome you to this digital workshop and thank you very much for the invitation. My minister, Ms. Glöckner, already mentioned how well Germany and Israel have cooperated over the years. In particular, she underlined the important role of our bilateral agricultural research cooperation, which was initiated as a result of our bilateral intergovernmental agreement of 2012. Israel is the only country with which we have concluded this kind of agreement of agricultural research cooperation. So I think it is fair to say that Germany and Israel enjoy a special relationship in the field of joint agricultural research. 4 research projects have been jointly supported. They have proven that our cooperation can be a great asset when we pool our expertise and facilitate mutual discussions between partners from different geographical regions. Not only is this cooperation beneficial for both of our countries, but also for the agricultural sector as a whole. The solutions that have been developed together will be key in realizing a resilient, climate-adapted, resource-friendly agricultural sector. Several of the research institutions present here today have played an important role in finding these solutions, from the German side as well as from the Israeli side. The work of research institutions which belong to the Federal Ministry of Food and Agriculture has been particularly significant. A large portion of our research budget is spent on these institutes. These are the ministry's research institutes and further institutes associated with our ministry. My minister already pointed out how much money we spend on research every year. The institutes provide the scientific basis from which political decisions can be made within the ministry, and they are also well integrated within national and international scientific networks. Prior to today's event, we spoke with our departmental research institutes, and together we identified topics which could be of interest for future bilateral cooperation between Germany and Israel. These topics could include plant protection or how to improve stress adaptation of our crops in light of climate change. The topic of climate change adaptation is also very important here in Germany. As Ambassador Issacharow already mentioned, Especially the past 2 years have shown us how vulnerable German agriculture sector is when there are water shortages and shifts in growing seasons. Israel, of course, has much longer experience in this field and has achieved important progress, for example, in the efficiency of irrigation systems. I'm therefore pleased that the focus of today's workshop is climate change adaptations. I'm also glad that we are joined today by representatives from the Julius Kühn Institute, the Federal Research Institute for Arable Crops, and from the Thünen Institute, which conducts research in the fields of forestry, fisheries, and rural development. Both the Julius Kühn Institute and the Thünen Institute already cooperate closely with their Israeli counterpart institutions, including the Volcani Center. Other topics which are important for us are food quality and food safety, as well as animal health and animal disease control. All these topics have already been mentioned, and we also recognize great potential for joint research and innovative activities. We are also joined today by staff from the German Ministry of Research and from my directorate. They will be following our discussions with interest and collecting new inspirations for further joint projects. I would be happy to see further opportunities for discussion and exchanging ideas arise between our ministries and research institutes following today's workshop. I hope that the successful cooperation in agricultural research between Germany and Israel will continue, and that in the near future, we will put the Intergovernmental Agreement of 2012 into practice, focusing on relevant topics from the year 2020. I hope this will be a lively workshop which delivers new findings and great potential to further innovative ideas. And I would like to express my particular thanks to the Helmholtz Association for their initiative in organizing this workshop. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Professor Otmar Wiestler, President of the Helmholtz Association. Please.
Well, distinguished guests, dear colleagues, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to this exciting joint conference on behalf of the Helmholtz Association. In this activity, we can build on a very special and long-standing relationship between Israeli and German scientists, which has been going on over decades. In our special case, the Helmholtz Association, we have supported long-standing interactions in areas such as biomedical research, with the first, I think, dating back to the 70s, in Earth, environment, and climate, the topic of today, air and space and transportation, energy research, or information technologies and information processing. Only during the last couple of years, we have considerably expanded some of these initiatives. We have established new joint research schools, set up 3 international Helmholtz laboratories in Israel, and of course decided to open an office in Tel Aviv back in 2018. All of this because we feel, for us, Israel is a very special and very powerful partner in research and innovation, highly complementary in many of our research activities. Now, in the area of today's workshop, that is agriculture and nutrition, we can certainly build on the agreement two governments back in 2012. And I'm very glad to learn that we will renew this bilateral agreement with our joint sort of activity here today. And I very much endorse and look forward to the upcoming collaboration between the Volcani Center and the colleagues from Jülich and Leipzig on the Helmholtz site. Now, today we are all very much affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, but once this pandemic is successfully mastered, climate change will return, and probably most important task ahead of us. And for mastering the many challenges of climate change, this new cooperation between Volcani, the Helmholtz centers and additional partners can play a really important contribution. The partners are highly complementary and I think provide all the basis for an ideal sort of new path for cooperation. Volcani, with all its expertise in climate change and agriculture, and all the know-how in technology development on one side. The center in Jülich, with all the expertise in information processing, supercomputing, in bioeconomy and in cutting-edge energy research, as well as the colleagues in Leipzig, who are one of the leading centers in environmental research, focusing on issues such as sustainable ecosystems, water resources, and of course, the interplay between humans and their environment. And I think this combination promises to promote a real new era in cooperation between our institutions in this exciting future research field. I think it's a good idea to establish potential collaborations in the setting of meetings and workshops to define potential fields for this future interaction. And I do hope, of course, very much that this activity will also exchange and cooperations between junior scientists in particular, which are a very important sort of group of colleagues to promote this new relationship. I would like to thank both governments, first of all, for providing the basis and the framework for the cooperation. I would very much like to acknowledge the scientists from Volcani, but also from the centers in Jülich and Leipzig, because they will make this happen in the end. But let me also thank Hagit Schwimmer and Andrea Fram, who have put a lot of effort into sort of establishing this workshop, but also encouraging the scientists to enter into cooperations. With this, I would like to wish you all the best, and I'm very much looking forward to exciting research results in this highly relevant area for both of our countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Wiestler. Our next speaker is Professor Eli Feinerman, the head of the Agriculture Research Organization. Please.
Honorable ministers and ambassadors, distinguished participants, I would like to devote my 5 minutes to introduce to you the bride, namely Volcani Institute. Volcani is an agricultural research organization of Israel It was established 100 years ago, and it is a research arm of the Ministry of Agriculture. It is also known as Vulcani Center, named after its founder, Professor Eliezer Vulcani. Vulcani is the largest, oldest, and leading agricultural research institute in Israel. We have 3 campuses. The main one located in Rishon LeZion in the center of the country, not far from Tel Aviv. We have 1 campus in the north, not far from Haifa, which focuses on sustainable agriculture and healthy food, and 1 campus in the south, located not far from Beersheba, which is focusing on agriculture on the edge of the desert. We have close relationships, working relationships, with the Center of Mariculture or Aquaculture Center in Eilat, located on the shore of the Red Sea, which is in the process of joining Vulcani. We have 200 scientists, researchers. Each one of them is a leader. Each one of them is a leader of a scientific team. Each team is composed of research assistants, graduate students, PhD and master students from universities all over Israel, and from postdocs, most of them from abroad. Vulcani is composed of 6 research institutes: soil, water and environmental sciences, plant sciences, plant protection, post-harvest and food sciences, animal sciences, and agricultural engineering. At any given time, we have about 600 to 700 target-oriented studies that are being conducted here. And all this wide range of studies cover almost everything that one can imagine in the fields of agriculture and environment and resources, agriculture and food, agriculture and health, agriculture and industry, agriculture and international relations. One comment about research: Israel is actually a good natural laboratory for agricultural research. It is very diverse, very small country, but very diverse, different soil types, different water types, weather condition, different landscape within close proximity. And the research that we conducted here in the diverse region of our small country is suitable for farmers all over the globe. We have a wide scale of research, from drones and satellites in the space till the tip of the root of a wheat. We cover really a very, very wide range, and from a molecular level to the one cell, one gene, to the whole plant, the whole cow, the whole animal, the whole region, the whole country. Beyond research, I would like to present to you, we have unit for science-oriented use. High school students and their teachers are educated here, study agricultural research, topics. The Israeli Gene Bank is located in Vulcani, and we have technology transfer, very active technology transfer unit called Kidum. I strongly believe that collaboration between our 2 institutions is very, very promising, and the fruits of our cooperation will be of great value, not only for Germany and Israel, but for billions of citizens, of people all over the globe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Feinerman. I would like to say warm welcome to Eric Zimmerman, the new GIF director, whom I haven't mentioned in the beginning. We're very honored to have you here as our guest. Thank you.